Hello and welcome to another episode of the Best You interview series. It's Gary here again. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to tune in to today's episode. And today I'm delighted to be joined by alternative cosmologist, podcast host and guest, and app creator, Flat Earth David Weiss, like ice, who is here to share some potentially controversial insights on his views of the world. Dave left behind a successful business career to dedicate his life to unveiling what he knows to be the true nature of our world. As the host of the Flat Earth podcast and creator of Flat Earth Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock app, Dave has become one of the most vocal and influential advocates for Flat Earth, challenging the conventional globe model with a blend of historical analysis, scientific inquiry and personal experimentation. Dave's journey into Flat Earth isn't just about debunking the globe, it's about exploring a geocentric universe where the Earth is flat, enclosed, and where phenomena like the sun, moon and stars operate under different principles than what is traditionally taught or thought. Dave's approach isn't just about trying to convince others to encourage controversy, it's to genuinely encourage critical thinking, and he invites us all to question established narratives, perform our own research, and consider alternative explanations for what is today conceived as or perceived as observed reality. Dave, thank you very, very much for joining me on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, this is a controversial topic because we've been programmed since birth that we live on a globe, and it's the foundation of our worldview. And then they make us love space and space programs and planets and all of this stuff. And you know what happens when you try to take a ball away from a baby? It's not a pretty situation,
Yeah.
right? But when we grow up, do we really grow up or are we just big babies, right? You take a ball, you tell somebody that their entire life view is incorrect, all of their dreams of becoming an astronaut and going into space and aliens from other planets is all nonsense. It doesn't go so well sometimes. But
Yeah.
once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. And for those of you that like the idea of other intelligent life out there, well, Flat Earth actually makes that possible.
Right. And I'm looking forward to talking about that. I have to say, since we chatted in our pre interview a while back and then prior to today, I did go and look in my son's cupboard and he has a lovely globe in there that I don't think would look quite as nice if it was just this kind of flat thing. So I'm looking forward to getting a bit more educated so I know whether I'm going to keep that or whether I'm going to look for the receipt and try and take it
It's
back. So
now,
before we
how old is the globe?
it's oh no, it's a number of years old, probably about 5 or 6 years old.
Well, look on the bottom. There was a sticker when you bought it, and the sticker said for educational purpose, not for educational purposes, for decoration purposes only.
Okay,
All
I'll ch
globes say that when you buy that because they don't want to be sued for somebody that goes, yeah, I'm going to look at the globe. I'm going to go from here to here. And then they get lost at sea and they die. And then the family sues the globe company because it's all wrong. Um, there you go.
incredible. So let's go back a wee bit, if you don't mind. I did mention there in the bio that you left a career in business to pursue your passions, which is what you're doing now. Can you tell me just a wee bit about your background and how that manifested itself into taking the leap?
All right. So I was born on the East Coast in America. I still live here. I did everything that you're supposed to do to obtain the American dream. I went to college. I got, good grades in college. Left college, went into corporate America. I was in the printing industry for 20 some odd years.
Yeah.
I rose to the top of that, got bored with that. So I left there and I went into the solar power industry. And I rose to the top of that with the company I was with. And then I left that company and myself and two other friends from that business, we started our own solar power development business for commercial projects. And it was doing extremely well. But at the same time, I was having my truth journey and I was doing a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, looking into the deceptions of the world. And it was kind of getting in the way of my business. And so that kind of morphed into Flat Earth, where I started looking into flat Earth, and that's a whole nother story. But excuse me. Then I realized that the topic of flat Earth is the most important topic on Earth. Now, how can I say that with all of the stuff that's going on, child trafficking, war, nuclear war, political stuff? It is the reason that they can get away with everything, because if you're lost in space, spinning out of control, have no idea who you are, what this place is, or the power that your mind has, you'll believe anything. You'll believe that you can breathe on grandma and kill her.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what was the first catalyst that got you interested? Was it a general, and forgive me if this is not the right term to use, but a general appreciation and desire for conspiracy theories, or was it something more deep than that?
So it's funny, one of my earliest memories in school was in kindergarten or first grade. Teacher took us outside to teach us about gravity, and they got a bucket of water on a rope and swung it around and said, "That's gravity." And as a little kid, I went to the teacher and I said, "Well, the water's on the outside of the globe, so that's different than what you just showed us." And the
Mm.
teacher, but it was a guy, he had a big beard, he goes like this, and he goes over and gets his textbook that he teaches from. And I remember it was highlighted in all different colors, like it's gone down like generations of people using it.
Yeah.
And he showed me the paragraph and he reads it to me. He goes, "This is how they told me to teach it, and that's how I'm going to teach it. But you keep asking questions." And then I remember I went over on the swings and played for the rest of the afternoon or whatever, the rest of the recess, and never really thought about it again for like 40 some odd years. Okay.
Yeah.
And 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 so I always questioned, what is school, right? You went to school, right?
Yeah.
So how do you get good grades? Do you question what the book says, or do you memorize and regurgitate it?
Oh, it's definitely memorization and
Yeah.
regurgitation.
So if I wrote a book of BS and I gave it to everybody, and then I tested people on it, and whoever got 100, I gave them a degree, a certificate. They can
Yeah.
put it up on the wall, and then they can talk BS to anyone they want. And if anyone questions them, they go, I've got a degree. Where's your degree? Are you certified in BS? Because I am, right?
Yeah.
That's what education is. Education is indoctrination, memorization, regurgitation. That's all it is. You're not allowed to question the mainstream, right? They say that flat earthers are science deniers. No, we're science users. We hold science's feet to the fire. When you look at the globe model, it busts every law of physics. People say, "Dave, what's your best flat earth proof?" And I say, every single one of them, if you look at it. If you just look at it and think about it, every single one is the best. And we can go over countless, just depending on where you want to go with this. So that's how I got into it. And it is the globe lie is how they keep control of the world. They're hiding more land. They're hiding free energy. They're hiding abundance. They're hiding your connection to the creator. They're hiding your divinity. They're hiding your true power, and they're hiding God.
Right. And in terms of, you mentioned flat earthers there. So, am I to believe this is an industry or a collection of individuals who have a common bond across the planet?
Well, it's not a planet, it's a plane.
Plane,
Okay.
okay. So,
Across the
what's that?
plains. Watch your
Five
watch your
sixths of a
language,
planet?
young man. Watch
Okay.
your
Do you know
language.
what? I almost
Okay.
said globe. I almost
Well,
literally did say globe.
planet and globe are the same. It's the
I know.
plane. It's a plane without the T. Take the T off. It's just a
Okay.
plane. All right. So the what was what was the question? I'm sorry.
So no, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to be corrected. Please do that as we continue.
Uh,
Is there an
it's all
industry?
right. I used to make that mistake too. I would say it, but now I don't say it anymore.
Yeah. Is it an industry? Is it a
Oh,
collection
industry. Yeah, I got it. I got
of
it.
people across
It
the
it
plane?
it's when there's a truth, it spreads. When there's, the truth is the light, and light spreads. You can't spread darkness. You can't go into a room with some darkness and go, "Oh, no." You go into the room with some light and it spreads.
Mhm.
And so when you say the flat earth movement, it's everyone that's awake to flat earth. They're in the movement. Everyone that's awake to a truth. Um, that once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you see the globe lie, there's people have different theories on what's beyond Antarctica, or how old the Earth is, all of these different flat Earth questions, what the sun is, how the sun moves, what the lights in the sky do. That's all good, but we all look back and say, how the heck did we ever believe in the I call it the helio nonsensical model. Now, you believe you live on a globe, right? I won't hold it against you. I may judge you a little bit, but you do believe you live on a globe, right?
I do, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and we had a pre-interview, so you did have time to do a little studying. Um,
Yeah.
what is the circumference of the Earth at the
In
equator?
in terms of like, what is the
Miles.
answer?
In
In,
miles.
oh, I've no idea.
Okay,
I
what
don't.
is the diameter of the Earth? What is the radius of the Earth? What is the distance to the sun? What is the orbital speed around the sun? What is the speed that the sun is moving? Do you know any of those answers?
That wasn't the research I did, I have to
Okay.
say.
So these are important things to understand, because if you believe it, so we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, which is faster than the speed of sound. We're orbiting at 66.6 thousand miles per hour. Funny number, right? And we're chasing the sun at over 500,000 miles per hour, never to return to where we were before. So these are speeds that you can't even fathom. This is the NASA's rocket sled. Watch, it's going to go by at Mach 8.6. Ready?
Yeah,
Didn't even see it,
yeah,
right? Mach 8.6. You have to believe that we live on a lumpy rock surrounded by water, right? The Earth is 70% water that doesn't curve, but it has to curve if the Earth is a ball. Surrounded by high pressure air, adjacent to a void, a vacuum of no pressure space, which is scientifically impossible. And it's moving around the sun in a curved trajectory, not straight, curved, 10 times faster than this.
yeah,
And it's chasing the sun 100 times faster than that, right? And while all that's going on, we can go out in nature and see lakes like this, and we're moving in all these different directions,
yeah,
but the water just remains flat. Okay?
yeah,
The water just remains flat. We go out and see this. Does that like get a dinner, driving a car 100 miles an hour or 5 miles an hour? I don't care. And you got a dinner plate filled with water. If that car speeds up, slows down, or takes the slightest turn, the water is going to slosh all over the place.
yeah,
Is this container, large bodies of water at rest, need containment? The containment is the higher land that goes all the way around the lake. Does that water, is that container moving? Use your God-given common sense, not the nonsense that you were sold in school.
yeah. Yeah, so for the listeners here, that there are a few images that Dave is putting up. You can get the gist of what he's saying in terms of that. I never thought about it in those terms, in terms of the water remaining in the container and not really reacting to the speeds of gravity and solar movement and such until this particular point.
That's the thing, because if you did think about it, you would realize that the helio nonsensical model is complete and total garbage. It's absolute garbage. And once you accept that, then everything changes. People throw their hands up. What difference does it make? I have to go to work on Monday, right?
Yeah.
It makes all the difference in the world. Your thoughts create your reality.
Mhm.
Your thoughts, your imagination creates your reality. It does. When you think bad thoughts, bad stuff comes into your life. When you think good thoughts, good stuff comes to your life. It's a magnetic attraction. Your thoughts are magnetic.
Yeah.
Well, if you live on a ball, you're in a prison of lack and fear, right? So you can't even imagine outside that ball,
Yeah.
right? You can't even imagine, right? But if you understand that we live on an extended plane and there could be more beyond Antarctica, there's all sorts of stuff, that we're at the center of creation, your imagination completely opens up and everything changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes.
So when you said earlier about the, you mentioned they are compounding lies. They are telling you what they need to tell you to be able to control, whatever the motivation is. Who, in your opinion, would be the they over the course of time? Because this has been, this is not just the last 10 years where we've decided that
So
it's a
so
globe.
correct. So in the mid 1700s, there was the 1776 Bible. Um, all of the leaders of the world got together and they took out sections of the Bible that basically said God is within each of us. They took all of those parts out and said you have to come through us to get to God. So the organized religion wants to be the middleman between you and God when that is not necessary,
Mm.
right? So they want you in a religion, organized religion, Buddhism, Judaism, um, whatever, uh, um, or they want you in scientism, that believing in a Big Bang, and the Jesuit priests made up the whole Big Bang thing, right? Once upon a time there was nothing, it exploded, it became everything, and then rocks started turning into balls, and gas collapsed. Gas collapsed in space to create suns and stars. Wait, when does gas collapse? Gas violently fills the available space, but in space, gas collapse and
Mm.
create. And our sun is made out of 98% helium and hydrogen. Helium and hydrogen defy gravity. But for some reason in space, they collapse, makes a sun that burns for billions of years, never changes size or anything.
Mm.
And it can hold on to Pluto and us and ignores our moon, but holds on to Pluto, right?
Mm.
It's nonsense. And the reason you can't figure it out isn't because you're stupid, it's because it's stupid.
Right.
But they want you so confused. They never teach you about these things, and they make space so big that your mind cannot comprehend it. You know the law of big numbers? You were never taught about big numbers,
Mm.
right? What do I mean by big numbers? Is a trillion a big number? 1 trillion.
Yeah.
It's a tiny number next to what they're talking about in space. But let's talk about a trillion for a second. How long is 1 trillion seconds?
Oh, I've no idea.
Take a guess. If you guess it within 2 days, I'll give you a Bitcoin. That's a
I'm gonna
$100,000.
I'm gonna say it is a trillion seconds. I'm gonna say it is 13 years.
13 years, very close. 31,000 years.
Oh
Okay. You got the one
wow.
and the three correct,
That's
right? But
that's my mistake.
31,000 years is 1 trillion seconds. That's only 12 zeros,
Yeah.
right? They use stuff with 120 zeros. You can't even fathom what that is,
Yeah.
right? Those are the distances in space. The reason Polaris never moves, even though we're moving 4.5 billion miles a year, never to return to where we were before, is because it's so far away that the movements that we're doing for millennia don't make any difference in parallax. You know what parallax is, right? When something close to you and something far, when you move, they change positions,
Yeah.
right? And never once in all of history have two stars changed positions. Never once. Isn't that weird? Kind of like they're fixed in a firmament, and that firmament is spinning over us in
Yeah.
perfect unity. The sky is a perfect clock, right? The finest Swiss watch is not as accurate as the sky clock. You know why? Because the sky clock is time. Without the sky clock, there's no watches, right?
Yeah.
What is time, right? So we have this gravitational model where gravity, like it would be a mess. The best supercomputers in the world can't model three bodies. You can put two bodies and say, all right, I got this mass and this mass, and they're orbiting each other, and the computer will figure out what it's going to do for a million years. Add a third body to that, the thing goes haywire, goes into chaos mode, and no computer can figure out what it's going to do next. But we have trillions of bodies in our galaxy, thousands in our solar system, and never ever does anything ever change. It's a perfect system. Get out of here. Just get out. Get out. You're not thinking. God gave you a brain to think with, and people just they're fluoridated, they're vaccinated, and they're indoctrinated. Right? So I think you asked who is the controllers. Well, the
Yeah.
controllers that we see are it's called the round table. You got the United Nations, you got the Bilderberg Group, you got the Club of Rome, you got the Trilateral Commission, the can't see right now. You got the Royal Institute of International Affairs, and I think that's that. I think I covered them all. and the Council of Foreign Relations. I think I said that. So these are the people that we see. These are just the puppets of the real controllers. Who are the real controllers? You got me. But know what's interesting? All of our world leaders go to Antarctica at the weirdest times. They disappear out of the base for a couple of days. They reappear on the base and then they go back home. Where are they going? I think they're going to speak to the friggin' fallen angels, maybe the people that are really running the Nephilim, the real controllers of this world. We're in a prison and we don't even know it because we can't see the walls because they told us we're on a sphere.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in terms of then, with modern science being the way that it is, communication protocols being the way that they are, and people, explorers is what I'm specifically referring to here, pushing the boundaries the way that they do, how come we've never heard of anyone saying, I got to the end and then there was more? Now, the caveat to that is I haven't heard anyone say, I got to, I accomplished Antarctica and everything is a-okay. I find it difficult in my head, Dave, to think that in today's communicative society that someone wouldn't be able to provide that irrefutable evidence to say, I thought this was the end, and this is what the globe, this is what the planet says is the end, yet there was still infinity of a distance ahead of me at that point. I haven't heard anything like that yet.
You think that's because they're not letting you hear it? There's
Possibly.
lots of people saying it. There's books all about it. There's all sorts of evidence of it. Okay. So let's talk about Antarctica. They tell us Antarctica is a continent at the bottom of a ball, right? And in 1959, we had Project High Jump. Now, Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. If you look at all the continents, the average elevation, Antarctica is over double the height of number 2.
Right.
That's interesting. Large bodies of water need containment. Well, a large body of water is the world ocean, and its containment is Antarctica. Antarctica is the shoreline of our world pond on the flat Earth, right? So 1959, the Antarctic Treaty came into effect, and all the countries in the world agree. Yep, nobody can independently explore Antarctica. Highly controlled. Now, you can spend $30,000, $40,000. They'll take you to the little tip right here to a little island called, ready? Deception Island. And if they don't take you to Deception Island, they take you to Rothschild Island. Okay? And they show you some penguins and some ice, and they kick you out, but there's no independent exploration out there. So this is our pond. This pink line is 60 degrees south. No one is allowed to go beyond 60 degrees south. There's 8 bases all the way around the perimeter of our world, run by the UN, run by the United Nations, run by Britain, and you cannot go to Antarctica. If you cross that line, you will be stopped. Now, what is out here? Yeah, what is out there? We don't know. Okay, we don't know. Here's the chart of the average height elevations. This is Antarctica.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. There's mountains on Antarctica taller than Everest. Wait a minute. I thought Everest was the tallest mountain in the world. They're not telling us stuff, right? They're not telling us stuff. So, where was I going with that? And
So I was asking why we don't. So then what you said there.
I got it. I remember. So there's a bunch of books in the book section on my app. You go to More Land, and there's a book called The Navigator Across the Ice Wall. That's a newer book, awesome. But it's an old book. This is a book that was published in Florida Magazine in 1901. It's about a politician it's called the Iron Republic, who was sick and tired of the politics, sold his house, sold everything, had a bunch of money, bought a nice big ship, and went exploring Antarctica. And when he's exploring Antarctica, he found an inlet, and he got, went into the inlet, and he popped out, and then he couldn't figure out where he was, looking at the stars. Nothing. He was lost at sea for a couple of months, and then they saw land, they saw a city, and the whole story is there was this advanced civilization there, way advanced, flat screens. I think they had floating cars. They had all sorts of stuff, right? And he lived there for 10 years. He actually fell in love, got married, and then something happened. I think his wife died. And then he got his ship back, and he went back, and he landed in Florida. But what if he went through this little opening here was lost at sea. Then he found land and he was out here. And so he came back, told the story, had tons of evidence, but you never heard about it. And guess what? You want to find like the first copy of Time magazine. If you want to find anything, you can find it on eBay. The internet lets you find anything. You can't find a single copy of Florida magazine that had these articles in it. Not a single copy anywhere. They've removed it. Now, there's a couple PDFs out there of 4 different issues. But the article in 1801 or 1901, they're talking about more land beyond Antarctica, right? Mm-hmm. If there's more land out here, that would be extra territory. And if somebody lived on the extra territory, they would be an extraterrestrial from where? The outer space. Mm-hmm. Now, is that more feasible than coming from a planet in space? The closest star to our solar system is 25 trillion miles away. So if you and I were in a rocket ship going a mile per second, which no one's ever gone that fast, in 31,000 years, we're 1/25th of the way there. Yeah. Got to do that 24 more times. Mm-hmm. If Elon gave me a rocket that went 100,000 miles an hour, it would only take us 28,000 years to get there. These are numbers that you can't comprehend, right? So are we so supposed to believe that people are coming from, that's the closest possible space. The other stuffs are magnitudes farther, coming here and crashing in Roswell? Are you kidding me? Or are they just coming from the outer space? Here, it's a day trip, right? There's tons of stuff. Astronauts are whistleblowers. Tons of pilots are saying Earth is flat. There's so much evidence. It's unreal. I mentioned pilots. Let me just bring up one quick thing. I like this. This is a good one. Pilots, when they come to land, they have to decide when to start descending. So if they're 100 miles out and they're let's just say they're 100 miles out, 100 feet in the air, just for easy numbers, they have to drop 1 foot per minute, right? If 1 foot, whatever. I can't do the math. Why I'm multitasking here? Whatever. They have to figure out their rate of the descent to get to the bottom, right?
Yes.
They have to figure out how many feet per minute they need to drop, right? Yeah. Right? How many feet per minute, right? So that is a flat Earth calculation. At 125 miles out, there's 2 miles of curvature. 2 miles of curvature. So the pilot would be 2 miles too high when they get there unless he calculated in the curvature, and they don't calculate the curvature. At 125 miles, the Earth drops 2 miles. But they don't calculate. They don't see the runway. They're like, okay, I'm at 10,000 feet. I got 10 minutes to get to the airport. I got to drop 1,000 feet per minute.
Yeah.
That's a quick drop. All right. But when he gets out there, the runway would be 2 miles below if he started at 125 miles, but it doesn't. Yeah. Isn't that weird? Maybe it's just a weird thing, or maybe the Earth is flat and it's not curved. Airplane, what does that say? Air globe or airplane?
Yeah. Yeah.
Airplanes fly straight and level. Now people say, well, you don't feel it. Airplanes would fly off into space if they didn't follow the curve of the Earth. Right? They have to drop it a half a mile per minute just to follow the Earth, the curve of the Earth at 500 miles per hour. Right? And people say, well, you wouldn't really feel that. Bull crap. You're sleeping on an airplane, cruising, because you're going straight and level and it's beautiful, right? As soon as that pilot starts descending at the slowest rate, you wake up. You're like, whoa, my angle of my trajectory just changed. And you wake up.
Yeah.
Because you feel it. The slightest change in direction.
Yeah.
But we're twirling and twirling and swirling in different directions. Airplanes are curving over the ball, right? The SR-72, the new spy plane that we have, goes 4,000 miles an hour. It would have to drop, ready? At a mile per second to follow the curve of the Earth. What would that do to the pilot? Wouldn't it send him to the ceiling and kill him? Right? A mile per second, ChatGPT says the G-forces are 120. I think people die at 5 Gs or 6 Gs or something like that. You'd be liquefied at 120 or whatever the number is. It's over 100 Gs.
Yeah.
Crazy. So flat earthers are crazy? No, we're well researched. Flat earthers, we know we don't know a lot of things. Globers think they know everything. It's amazing. It's amazing. By the way, you got a 0 on my globe math quiz. I got a 0 too when I first started it. So don't
Yeah.
feel bad. Okay. Flat earthers know more about the heliocentric model than globers do. Isn't that weird? Because globers believe. Belief is the enemy of knowing.
So you mentioned earlier there's a prevention system in place. So for the listeners, there was a disc that had Antarctica being the kind of the first Earth, and then there was more water, more land, and such elsewhere outside of that, just to kind of provide a narrative to the picture. Who would be stopping? And I know I asked you earlier who is the person, who is the man, who is the body that is preventing, or sorry, controlling the narrative to educate us into what we're doing. But who would like? Are you saying we are literally physically being stopped by Antarctica and by the conditions and by the profile of the Earth at that point, or is there other measures that are being taken to make sure that human beings don't get beyond this perceived wall or barrier?
Well, the other thing is Antarctica, at least the beginning of it, is pretty forbidding. Even if they let us go, where are you going to get fuel? Where are you going to get food? There's nothing that grows there. There's no GPS. The compasses don't work. How are you going to navigate? Right?
Yeah.
It's not even an easy thing if they allowed it. It's very forbidding. And the creator created this place where he didn't want you to be able to figure it out too easily. Because once you know that this place is divinely created, it's a kind of like a cheat code because now you don't have to have faith. You know there's a creator. You know you're special. You know all of these things, which gives you a major advantage over
Mm.
people that don't know, people that are living in fear, false evidence appearing real, fear, FEAR,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, um, when so these are the UN forces will not allow you to go beyond 60 degrees south, unsupervised. Now people say, well, so and so walked across Antarctica. There's one woman, she was going to go across Antarctica and on skis or whatever. And she got to the South Pole and then she turned around and came back. And so
Mm.
one of our guys contacted her and said, why'd you turn around and come back? And she goes, well, they wanted to charge me $70,000 extra to pick me up on the other side. So I decided to come back. What? $70,000 to pick her up on the other side? That's right over near Australia. Why wouldn't you just go get her?
Mm.
Right? Um, that's because it isn't, because she was going out this way and Australia's over here.
Mm.
She was going out here. So she went out and came back and said that she went across Antarctica. Right? Now that people say, well, what about circumnavigation, right? Circumnavigation, that should prove the Earth is a globe. And the question I have to ask you is, let's say in your town hall is at the center of your town,
Yeah.
and you're on the very outskirts of your town, and you walk all the way around your town. Did you circumnavigate your town?
In theory, yes.
In theory, yes. So let's look at how circumnavigation works. On a flat Earth, the center of the Earth is the North Pole, and it's a magnet. And so all compasses point north towards it. So I'm trying to push this compass west.
Yeah.
And I have to keep turning because that needle keeps making me turn to maintain a heading of 270. So I just went all the way around at a 270. Now I'm going to go east, 90 degrees east, and I have to keep turning to maintain a compass heading. Now the Earth is so big, you wouldn't even know that you were turning. You're following your compass. Like if you were on a track that was 500 miles around, you wouldn't even know that you were turning. You would feel like you're driving on a straight road other than, looking at the lights and the sun you'd say, okay, the sun's shifting, but you wouldn't even notice. Now I got a stick here and I'm pointing it west. So the needle's pointing north to the center. West is that way. If I follow the stick, ready? I'm no longer heading west. I'm heading south. I'm heading away from north. North is behind me. So south is that way. The compass didn't quite turn, but
Yeah.
every direction away from north. If you and I were standing at the North Pole with our backs to each other, north is the pole, and we walked away, we're both walking south. in opposite directions.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has ever circumnavigated the Earth south. Nobody. Billions have done it east and west, but nobody's gone south. Nobody's gone from Santiago to Australia. Look, I'm heading north. I'm heading north. I'm heading north. I'm going to continue that straight line. Look, the compass is at a 180. I'm heading south. That's south. That's south. That's south. That's south. South is every direction that you can point.
Mm-hmm.
You can't point east because if you go that straight line, you're going south.
Yeah.
Get a magnet, get a compass, check it out. It's a fact. It's not a theory, right?
Yeah.
So that's how circumnavigation works.
So in terms of the biggest, you're obviously very, very passionate about what you do. What would you say is the biggest challenges that you mentioned earlier, globers would provide to you in terms of debate, in terms of this is irrefutable, in terms of this is what I can use to debunk your theories? Where do you see the most common from people who are genuinely educated, not just casual observers like myself? What
Yeah.
would be the biggest argument?
Well, the ones that are, honest and generally educated, they won't even entertain the conversation. But then there's the paid shills out there or the demonically possessed ones. Same thing, paid or possessed. It's the same. And they love pointing up at the lights in the sky, going, look, the sun does this. The stars are counter rotating. And we have explanations for all of those things. But the truth is, nobody knows what the sun is or the stars. The only thing that could ever been seen about a star is it's a point of light in the sky. They don't know how big it is. They don't know how far it is. They don't know anything, right? Just last thing on circumnavigation, this flight went from the North Pole through America, down South America, down to the South Pole, went all the way up by Madagascar and all the way around. And that's what's a southern, south, north circumnavigation. Amazing, right? Let's look at that on a flat Earth. North Pole, America, South America, touched Antarctica, maybe went a couple 100 miles inwards, came up and around Madagascar. That's all they did. They did just a little lap.
Mm-hmm.
And they call that, and they got the world record for circumnavigation, southern circumnavigation. Amazing.
It's fascinating.
It is fascinating. And the thing is, this is also, this is also very telling. If you Google, hey, top 10 reasons Earth is flat, Google's going to give you top 10 reasons the Earth is a globe. If you Google David Weiss flat Earth proofs, it's going to give you anti-debunking videos, hate videos about me, right? No matter what you Google, it's going to feed you the other nonsense, right? Why are they hiding it? Why does every flat Earth video says flat Earth, Wikipedia, flat Earth is a ancient concept that was proven wrong scientifically? Or what scientific? Show me the scientific proof. Show me high pressure adjacent to low pressure without a container.
Yeah.
They say, well, gravity's holding the Earth. The air. If you look that up, you're going to say, well, it's dense here at the top of Everest. It's thin, so it's a gradient. It gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner until it's space. Cool story, bro. Right? So if I had a half a tank of propane, the bottom's liquid, the middle part is a thicker gas, the top is a thinner gas. If I put a hole anywhere in that tank, all the propane is gone.
Mm.
You need a container to have pressure. We live in a pressurized system.
Mm. So, what do you hope to achieve from spreading the word in the way that you're
Good
spreading
question.
the word?
When you wake up to flat Earth, you literally wake up to creation. You wake up and you take back your freedom. You take back your divinity. You take back your true power. You unplug from the matrix and you stop feeding these pricks. I'd say pricks, right? The vampiric, energy beasts that are literally taking your energy. This is a spiritual war, and it's an energetic war. We live in a soul system, not a soul lure system where they're trying to lure away your soul. We live in a system made by the creator for our souls to have an experience. And souls are the most precious things on earth. And we're having our experience here in this meat suit at this time to expand the mind of the creator. And The evil ones will do anything to steal your soul. I believe that the evil ones that are running this world have lost their power to create. So they need us to create their world. They need our emotions because they don't have any, right? To literally create their world. So they kind of mind control us. They fluoridate us, right? They vaccinate us and they poison us and they poison us with the news. They keep us in fear. They steer our mind with the news, north, east, west, south, news, NEWS. It's all amazing, right? They use spells on us, right? Hollywood. What are a wizard's wands made out of? They're made out of Hollywood, wood from the holly tree, right? And they entertain us, entertain, control the mind, right? Entertain the mind, to hold the mind, right? So they're constantly doing this, and they use words, right? Our own words are weapons. Good morning, that means good death. Good death. At the end of the week, you're weakened, right? And people like, oh, that's nothing. No, your words are powerful, right? If you look at in ancient languages, they're all done with symbols. Everything's done with symbols. The real languages are using symbols for everything. Signs and symbols rule the world, but people don't understand it. And that's why all of the elite, they do their signals, their Illuminati shapes and their one eye symbolisms and everything, because it does something. It's a it's a crazy world we live in. It's a wild world. And when you figure it out, so back to your question, what do I hope to do? I hope to free people's minds. Like my mind, I've never been happier. This is amazing. This world is amazing. I'm never bored. I'm learning new stuff every day. I have my mind blown every single day. And I encourage people to look into this. Go to my website, flatearthdave.com.
Yeah.
And there's a section that says crash course. And there's a list of videos there that are awesome. They're amazing. But Google's hiding them all from you. You'll never find them unless you have a direct link. So go there, watch the first 3 videos, and you're a flat earther, guaranteed, 100%. No chance otherwise. But if you don't see them, you can continue to live your life the easy way, the lazy way, because the lazy man's knowing is just believing, right? You believe I live on the East Coast of America, right?
Yeah.
Do you know it?
I don't.
No, but you believe it because it's easier to believe. Now you're like, why would he lie? You use your common sense. You're like, all right, he's saying that. He sounds like New York. He sounds a little, and you put it all together and store it as truthful information.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's fine. But if it's on gun to your head, does Dave Weiss live on the East Coast, get it wrong and you're dead, you're going to like, can I have an hour to research, please? Right. And then you're going to go look it up. You're going to find me on Facebook. You're going to find my friends. You're going to look at the metadata on the pictures. You're like, okay, I think he's there. Right.
Yeah.
But it's if you want to know stuff, it takes time and effort, right?
Yeah.
Flat Earth is a lot of knowing. It's a lot of knowing you need to do. It's you have to stop believing in the ball. People believe in the ball, but they don't even know why. But if they knew why, they wouldn't believe in the ball. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. So my goal is when you wake up to and people say, and I said it, what difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday.
Yeah.
I don't even, what? I know today's Wednesday because tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Otherwise, I wouldn't even know what day of the week it is. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what day of the week it is to me. It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. And I know that my thoughts create my reality. I know that I made a vision board years ago and bam, everything came true. It took 5 years, but everything came true. I was like, why didn't I do this years ago? Right? There's so many ways to control your own life, but they don't want you knowing that you can do that. They want you to think that the control meant the mind is how you live your life, right? They want to control your mind. And once you wake up to flat earth, you totally unplug. It's like when Neo took the red pill. You unplug from the matrix. You completely unplug. And when you unplug, all of a sudden you can see. So on my website, the crash course is good. I highly recommend getting the app. It's a $3 app. Yeah. And every day there's a daily video. Just start off light. Just watch the daily video while you're having your tea or coffee every morning. And I guarantee you within 2 weeks, you're a flat earther. Okay. So don't get the app if you don't want to become a flat earther, right?
Yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff in there. There's the frequently asked questions page, right? Which is amazing, answers all your questions. But there's another thing called the old world. Are you aware that we're not at the pinnacle of civilization? You know the movie Idiocracy?
I
You don't know.
haven't, I'm not
Nobody
familiar
knows
with
the friggin' movie. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. Idiocracy. It's on YouTube. It's free. Watch
it.
it. Okay. If you smoke a joint if you can or something before you watch it.
Right.
Okay. But basically, it used to be a comedy, but now it's a documentary. It's about a guy that's frozen in some scientific experiment. They forgot about the experiment. He wakes up, 150 years later, whatever, and he's the smartest man on Earth because the Earth, everyone has gotten so dumbed down over the last 100 years.
Yeah.
He's the smartest man on Earth. It's hysterical,
Yeah.
but it's kind of true now, right? And if you look at it, there's so many correlations to what the world is doing right now. And so 150 years ago, 200 years ago, there was an advanced civilization here worldwide with higher technology than we have now, right? So on my app, there's a button that's a griffin right there, griffin, right? And that brings you to the old world. There's a button here, old world order. You can also find that on my website. Watch that video. My lunch break, he's on YouTube. You can find him, but he's also on the app here, easy to find. Watch a couple of those. You're toast. You cannot watch that and then never go back to sleep. So listen, warning, do not watch any of these if you want to go back to sleep, because you ain't ever sleeping again after you watch it, right? I haven't slept in 10 years, right? I haven't slept in 10 years. So there's so much stuff in here, but boredom is gone from your life. New energy, new thrills come. You have new desires. And you want to share this information with other people because that's what we're here to do. We're here to share information, expand our minds, and enjoy this realm for what it is and not be trapped in a prison planet.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I was going to ask, and I like to end the podcast with, what's one regular practice that you do every day, or, regularly, if every day means, if it's a higher frequency or a lower frequency, that enables you to become a better version of yourself. I know that you said you're learning every day, you're growing every day. Is there one particular practice that you have, Dave, that enables you to become a more enlightened, a more educated, a more aware person each and every day?
I constantly research. I do affirmations. I make sure when I appreciate something, I make sure I tell people I appreciate it. I make sure I point out to myself how lucky I am, how much, and even when something bad happens, it's actually good, right? You ever you meditate? Do you meditate?
Yep, I do, yes.
So when you meditate, sometimes you have monkey mind, it goes all over the place.
Yeah.
And then when you notice you have monkey mind, is that a bad thing? No, you noticed it. So now you can correct it.
Yeah.
So when something shitty happens,
yeah,
you can go, I want to go this way, right? When something you don't like happens, you can go that way, right? So contrast is what helps you find your way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I do. I take care of myself. I exercise. I share information with anyone else that wants to. I talk to nice people like you, and I do the best that I can from where I am. Like I'm in a condo surrounded by Wi-Fi. You see this hat right here?
Yeah.
This hat has silver lining in it. It's literally a tinfoil hat. Okay. Yeah. Right. On my app. And here he goes. He's plugging stuff. This is a guy from Spiro Clothing right here. Right. These are the greatest hats ever. You put it on, literally your mind just calms down because it's blocking all the Wi-Fi from going to my head. It's crazy what a great hat is. That's the only reason I don't like summer. I love summer, okay? Yeah. But I can't wear this hat in the summer. It's too freaking hot, okay? so that's one reason I tolerate winter.
I love it. So in the summer, then you are, what would you say, less enlightened or more susceptible to?
No, it's all good. I mean, and it's like right now, I don't know if you can tell. I'm standing.
Yeah.
I've got my tinfoil hat on. Okay, I'll say it. I'm standing on a wobble board, and that wobble board has a grounding mat on it, and I'm barefoot. Right. So I'm grounded. You know about grounding, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you're ever feeling bad, just go walk out in the grass barefoot, and you're like indigestion. Like tomorrow, all the people that are, I don't know when this is airing, after you eat a big meal, go out and walk on the grass. You'll feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Right. That's why you feel so good when you go to the beach, put your feet in the sand,
Yeah.
because you're grounding, you're getting these electrons. We're electrical beings,
Mhm.
right? In an electrical world. There's crazy stuff. Like here, I'm going to show you something. When you discover Earth is flat, you can find stuff that you would never find anywhere. You know who Nikola Tesla is, right? Probably
Yes.
not. Oh,
Well,
you do.
I've heard the name Tesla.
Yeah,
Yes.
Tesla, the car, but
Yeah.
that Tesla is the guy that powered the world's fairs with free energy. And JP Morgan shut him down. He goes, "Oh, wait, free energy? We can't have that. We need people paying for energy." Imagine if you had a device the size of your fist that could power your car for the rest of your life, heat your house, and air condition it to any temperature you want for free for the rest of your life. Would that change your life?
Of
Right?
course, yes.
Magic here. This is my Tesla coil, right?
Right.
It's amazing. It gives you life force energy. It actually does the whole neighborhood. When I turn it on, everyone's benefiting. But when I connect to that, it's absolutely fascinating. My body's filled with this life force energy. It's very healing. Like if you came near me and went like that, there was sparks would jump out of my fingers to yours,
Yeah.
right? Because you have all of this amazing energy in you. And so I do that every single day. And like I couldn't live without it.
Yeah.
It's and it just all you start discovering more and more things. Like I don't take any pharmaceutical drugs.
Mhm.
I just have tinctures, and I take sulfur. Sulfur is one of the greatest things ever. They never taught us about sulfur in health class, right? They don't teach us anything, right? And so people my age are usually on a dozen lifetime medications. I will never take any allopathic medicines. Occasionally an Advil, occasionally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Occasionally.
Fascinating. So
Yeah.
fascinating. So, in terms of, you mentioned earlier your website, just to make sure that that's top of mind for people once they're finalizing this podcast, where can people find out more about you, Dave?
So I'm on X, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, several YouTube channels, but they're all at flatearthdave.com. My X is Flat Earth Dave X, but all the links, just go to flatearthdave.com, subscribe to all of those, and just have them hit your feeds. That way, when you flip open your phone and you're bored, you should never be bored. Maybe you'll get something better than, dogs and cats playing with each other, which is cute. I do like a good dog and cat video, but you'll get something and it'll inspire your brain to actually start working. People go to the gym, they work out their muscles, but they let their brains atrophy. They just memorize, regurgitate. They go to work, they come home, they watch a movie, they drink beer, they go to sports, and that's their life.
Yeah.
Right? Nonsense.
Yeah.
I'll finish with this. I was doing all this research and I'm just like, I said, I wish I had more time to research. And then I got insomnia and I literally stopped sleeping. And I was like, wow, I got more time to research. So I was waking up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, back when I had a regular job, I was like, wow, I get 4 hours where I have to of research. And it was actually, I loved it. You be careful what you ask for, because the universe, this system is trying to give you everything that you think, good or bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. So fascinating, Dave. Thank you very, very much for your time. It's certainly been very thought-provoking. I'm going to go and do a wee bit more research on this, and I'll definitely keep in touch and let you know how that goes and see whether I'm going to be a convert,
Two things you have to do. On my website, Old World Order, watch that. There's a big banner there. It says Old World Order. And then Crash Course, watch the first 3 videos. So that's 4 videos you have to watch.
Okay.
And you're toast.
Okay. Challenge accepted.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Hello again. Thanks again for tuning in to this episode, and I do hope that you found it valuable and gained some insights. I do have an ask for you. If you enjoyed this podcast, I would absolutely love it if you would connect with me on my socials, and that's at LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Just search for my name and do whatever it is you need to do there to follow me and stay updated with all the latest content, tips, and discussions. And for any more resources that you're looking for, feel free to visit my website, garygillen.com. www.unveiling.com, and while you're there you can book a free no obligation 30-minute coaching call directly with me through the site. Whether you're looking to enhance your performance or tackle a new challenge, I'm absolutely here to help you succeed, and I would absolutely love to hear from you. Thanks very much again, and until next time, keep pushing towards your goals and getting better each and every day, my friend.